The topic discussion is AJAX under the module number 5. So this AJAX, it is asynchronous. It is a acronym of asynchronous JavaScript with XML. And when we're talking about this JavaScript or document object model, this will help to display or interact with the information, and XML to transfer by using this XML to transfer the information. So this Ajax, it is a technique to create a fast and dynamic web pages. So asynchronously, it can exchange the data with the server, and the more updated data will get loaded, and without loading the whole page actually. And it is a term used to describe a paradigm that allows a web browser to send messages back to the server without interrupting the flow of what's being shown in the server. And it is this Ajax is made very popular in 2005 by Google with some Google suggestions. Google suggestion this Google suggest is using this Ajax to create a dynamic web interface, and this by typing when you start typing in Google search box. Then what will happen? JavaScript send the letter off to the server, and the server will send back to the send back, and the working condition we will see, and then this is a mixing of some internet standards like XML HTTP request, and and then JavaScript document object model and XML. These are the mixing standards of these things, and this JavaScript to display, or we can interact the information and all those things. And and it is also a platform independent and browser independent, and some application behind this we can use is Gmail, Google, YouTube, and Facebook, all those things. So UML of asynchronous request. So here we have a client browser, and there is a server. So how it works actually? So it is first of all, there is a event which is occurred in the browser. The event we can create in the browser. Then afterwards, what will happen? XML HTTP object get created, and it's sent back to the server. And in server, what will happen? It process the HTTP XML request, and it sent back to the browser, and process. And then in browser, what will happen? It process the responded object by using the JavaScript. This JavaScript letter of the data from the server, and server sent back, is happening in this by asynchronously. I mean exchanging the data to be updated, and without reloading the whole page actually. And afterwards, this cycle will happening as it is. So here in this browser parses and build the document object model that renders the HTML page and runs the JavaScript. See here what is happening. Typical session of web page, if you want to start without Ajax, it is too difficult, because the network latency and rendering time will be there. So the transmission time is more and more. So that what it disrupt the web page actually. So that Ajax by using this Ajax, it is a very fast and dynamic web interface. By using this Ajax, you can exchange data asynchronously, which you want to update, that you can update, and without reloading any pages also. Without I mean whole page, no need to reload and all those things. So that this short transmission time, so that the dynamic web pages will get happen, and everything it is in validating state until an event occurs. So like the user clicks a button, browser asynchronously handles those events in the JavaScript. So JavaScript, what it will do, display or interact with those information. So and afterwards, JavaScript handles the event asynchronously requesting a web, and it returns content back to the browser. While the user process those requests, the browser is not handling the not going to refresh the state, and JavaScript process the response, and it updates the user interface. So this is the main UML of asynchronous request. And when we consider a web page, it displays the server time too. I already told that the network latency and rendering time is there. So when you want to open the document in a web page, sometimes what will happen, if you the information in URL, or if you want to click the link of his or her browser, the document will get we need our document to get arrived. So that time what will happen, the browser will get locked, and it waits for the server to provide the document. When the document arrives, that time it will get some time. It takes time to get our document. The rendering time is also very much, it will take time. So that what will happen, non-ajax things, it disrupt the web pages, and as it accordingly the page, first of all the page loads and shows the current server time as a small page, and afterwards asynchronous JavaScript call makes an HTTP request for the freshest version of the page. While waiting for the response, the browser goes into the waiting state. The response arrives, so the browser can render the new version of the page and functionality in the browser is restored. So this is the thing which is happening in the Ajax. Uh, you can get your updated page without reloading the whole page. Now in this before we talk about the synchronous way, and now we will talk about the asynchronous way. I mean, it is by using this Ajax, it is a technique to create a fast and dynamic web interface. So this is about the Ajax. And before we talk about the non-Ajax, the page load here, the page loads and shows the current server time as a small part of the larger page. And asynchronous call makes an HTTP request for just a small component of page that needs updating the time. While waiting for the response, the browser still looks the same and is responsive to the user interactions. The response arrives through JavaScript. The HTML page is updated. Here we are using the internet standard called XML HTTP request object. Once an event occurs, then the XML object gets created from the browser and it's sent back to the server, and afterwards it processes the XML HTTP request and send back to the browser. So in browser what is happening, it processes the returned information from the server and through JavaScript. So this JavaScript letter of the this JavaScript letter of the data from the server, and it's sent back to the server as accordingly. And making this asynchronous request, jQuery provides methods to make asynchronous requests. We will start a simple and work way, and it is very simple server time example we just saw before slides. So we can shorten the time, transmission time and network time and re-rendering time also very dynamically by using this Ajax concept asynchronously. And it this PHP returns a single string, and if you want to load that value asynchronously, you can write this syntax. And how you can get the request. So the HTML page contains a poll that votes asynchronously. A asynchronous vote submit the user's choice, and meanwhile, the browser remains interactive with the request is processed on the server. The response arrives and is handled by a JavaScript or a object model, which uses the response data to update the interface to show poll results. And jQuery, there should be some URL, and or if you want to type something in Google search box, otherwise if you want to link if you want to link in or his or her browser, you can use javaquery.get, and it is a URL is a string that holds the location to send the request, and data is an optional parameter, that is query string, or we can say it is a plain object. Object returns call the plain object, and this is an optional callback function that executes when the response is received. So data holding the body of the response is a string, and you can use this text status holding the status of the request, and JQHR holding JQXHR object, and this data type is an optional parameter to hold the type of data expected from the server. So this is how to get the request. And we can when we're talking about this XML HTTP request compatibility, abort and get response header, ready state, response XML or response request header, and status request. This abort, it stops execution and prevents any callback or handlers from receiving the trigger to execute. And get response header, it takes a parameter and get the current value of